Hello and welcome back to the Movies Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
I am pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. Doing good. Watched 2 movies, enjoyed 2 movies. That's 100%,
Yeah.
success. One I
How-
enjoyed a lot more than the other, but I didn't hate either. So,
Well, that's good.
it's a good week.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did 4 jobs. 2 movies, 2 series, and I'm pretty happy with most of these.
Excellent, excellent. Well, kick us off, because as always, you've watched more than I have.
Okay, so I will start with Black Adam.
The oldest of the things you're reviewing, I think, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. Black Adam, of course, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yep. It's got.
Who's the most obvious superhero? It's kind of weird. This movie got
Yeah.
announced so long ago. Like, it
The-
weirds me out how long they've been talking about
Well,
this, and I'm not sure if that's just due to how busy The Rock is or what, but...
No, I think it's to do with the whole, the Snyderverse and
okay.
how messed up DC is.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling if everything had been sorted, I think this movie would have come out ages ago.
Probably.
I think the thing about Rock, like you said, Dwayne Johnson he's built to play a superhero, but he has specifics of Dwayne Johnson means that there are only certain heroes he could probably play.
Right.
I mean, you can't put him in the Batsuit.
No, God, no, he would look ridiculous. No, I see what you mean. He's too big.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, you're right.
Like someone who's pretty huge,
Mm-hmm.
and has a certain sort of attitude. Because let's face it, The Rock isn't the most versatile of actors.
He's got a fuck ton of charisma.
Yes, absolutely.
That is about it, though.
I'm a lot more soft on him than I used to be.
Yeah. When he's cast in the right roles, he's fine.
And I actually think he's cast brilliantly here.
Excellent, because I wasn't sure, because he's, the whole idea with Black Adam and the whole marketing has been like, oh, he's a dark hero. He's not necessarily a goodie, but I'm like, The Rock is like the nicest guy, right? So I'm like, how long into the movie before we entirely ditch the fact that he's a bad guy?
Well, I think there's a thing apparently that he asked his fans who should he play,
right?
Shazam or Black Adam, and apparently unanimously his fans came back with Black Adam.
I cannot imagine him as Shazam. I just can't. I can't see that. To be honest.
He's certainly got the right physique, because
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's because is it Zachary Levi? He did such a good fucking job that I can't now unsee that. Does that make sense?
The thing is, Zachary Levi has such an amazing ability to play a child, basically.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's spot on with that characterization.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have maybe Johnson could have pulled it off.
He might have been able to.
I
loved that movie. I had so much. I was not expecting much from that, and that might be the most fun I've had watching a superhero movie in a long time.
It was just the right amount of silliness. Yeah, it was. It was really fun.
So here comes this movie. This is a way more sort of. I mean, even that initial trailer kind of won me over because it just murders all those people.
Exactly.
So what's it like?
So we've got Black Adam, who is obviously he's linked to Shazam because the Wizards Council gave him his powers. So he has the same sort of pretty much exactly the same abilities that Shazam has.
Okay.
Still weird me calling him Shazam in my brain. I still want to call him Captain Marvel, but
yeah.
Those are those things we should forget about. So in ancient times, basically, there was this king had his people mining this. We've got another one of those unobtainium things.
Oh no!
So that they could make this crown, which was like this demon crown, where the bad guy could get all his powers from.
Okay.
And Black Adam,
so generic.
Yeah, Black Adam is obviously one of the slave people that.
Right.
And there is a twist, but I'm not going to go into the twist.
Fair enough.
It's actually you kind of see it coming, but it was interesting enough, and apparently it's something to do with the new 22. I was going to say new 52 version of Black Adam, which I haven't read. I must admit, I've not read an awful lot of Black Adam stuff.
I was going to say, so is the slave origin is that part of the comics, or do you not know? Because I know nothing about Black Adam.
I think it's a new interpretation.
Okay.
I'm not sure how, because as I said, hadn't read an awful lot.
He is ancient, though, right? I'm assuming.
But he is. Oh yeah, he is ancient.
Right. Okay. So that bit at least, yeah.
He ends up getting put. Let's say he gets put to sleep, and he gets I would say covered over. Let's put it that way. And we then introduce it to Adrienne and her son, sort of separately, because the kids sort of skateboard, doing sort of Marty McFly stuff, which is quite funny actually. He's coming through this sort of checkpoint, and he's sort of making fun of the guards and stuff, because there's this group of people called oh god, they're called Intergang, I think it is, which is a terrible name, but
okay.
It must be comics accurate. I don't remember.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's definitely a comic name.
Yeah. So they've basically taken over the country, and they're treating the locals like shit. And the wider world is not doing anything about it. And she is an archaeologist who's been looking for this crown, basically to make sure that Intergang doesn't get it.
Sure.
And obviously, she ends up waking up Black Adam.
So does she believe the crown has powers, or does she just think it's worth a lot of money?
No, she does believe that the crown has power.
Okay.
So basically, she wakes up Black Adam. Black Adam, they are all like, "You're the hero of our people. You should do all this stuff." And he's like, "I'm not a hero. I'm, And obviously, you see him murder an awful lot of these Intergang people. And so, meanwhile, the Justice Society, headed by Aldous Hodges, Hawkman, and Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate, decide that they know all the stories of Black Adam. Obviously, Dr. Fate has lots of information on, because, well, although he himself isn't a contemporary, the Nelson, the character of Kent Nelson, isn't. Naboo, the entity within the helmet, which they didn't really go into in this. They sort of mention that the helmet gives him his powers, and there's like an entity in it, but they didn't really go into the whole Naboo thing, because I think that's been changed over the years as well. So
it's now a Star Wars planet.
Yeah, I'm an old school type person, so I haven't read any of the later 52 stuff for Dr. Fate, but and also Hawkman is a reincarnation of an Egyptian sort of pharaoh type thing. So we've got sort of contemporaries of Shazam.
Yeah.
In a way, but they don't really go into any of that stuff either. But they basically have decided that we must do something about Black Adam, because he could destroy the last time he was here, he destroyed like half of the country sort of thing, and we need to stop that before he destroys everything again. So they obviously, it feels a little self-righteous of them to sort of just go into this country, and obviously then they do sort of deal with that. So you also get Noah Centino as Atom Smasher, and
different franchise, my friend.
Yeah, different franchise. Quintessa Swindle as Cyclone. Those two don't get an awful lot to do, but they're quite fun when they do sort of turn up and do things. And Atom Smasher has a sort of Ant-Man series of events where he's like huge and stuff. I really enjoyed it. It's a sort of very basic, almost generic superhero movie.
I mean, these days though, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Honestly, it's the best superhero movie I've seen for a while.
Low bar, but
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's The Rock is doing a really good job. He genuinely quite menacing.
I mean, the thing is, I think we forget with The Rock, because he comes across like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He is terrifyingly big and intimidating if he wanted to be. He almost goes out of his way to not be intimidating, but the dude is terrifying if you think about it.
Yeah, if he had
just as a human, take away the superpowers.
Exactly. he has that sort of feel that at any moment he could just accidentally break your arm or something. You know what I mean?
Just by accident.
Just completely by accident. But yeah, he's doing a really good job as Black Adam. Which you know, you think, well, okay, you know, Black Adam as a character is quite a dark character.
Sure.
But I think he does it really well. I think it's a nice nice role. He gets some great, you know, really funny sort of one-liners that he fluffs up the kid. Who's the kid played by? He's a Bodhi Sabengi Gui. Sorry, I'm going to mess you with it.
That's okay.
He is really good as this as the kid, the son of the archaeologist, and he's a superhero obsessed. So his room is full of pictures of Superman and Wonder Woman, and he's got all the comics and stuff. And he's like trying to feed him superhero lines, and Adam keeps messing them up. Like he kills the person, then does the line. And the kid's like, no, you're supposed to do the line, then hurt the person, like, which is quite funny. It works. I thought Aldous Hodge was pretty good as Hawkman. He looks really good. Sometimes the CG's not great, but Pierce Brosnan is amazing as Kent Nelson. He just completely embodies how I think of Kent Nelson as Dr. Fate. Yeah, it's not gonna blow your mind really. It's just a really good, well-made superhero movie.
Well, that's good. That's
good. And that's
news.
exactly if that's what you want, then that's exactly what you'll get. It's a genuinely there's no messaging other than, you know, governments looking the other way when dodgy things are going on in countries, and you know it's not telling you anything you don't know. It's not trying. It's also trying to hoist a message on you like some of the Marvel stuff is these days.
Yeah.
So it's just a really fun movie. You know, and also, I mean, it's no secret, you get a nice little Superman cameo at the end, which was
that's like the worst kept secret now, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Which was really nice. Aware. Oh, and one that did. I mean, it's not really. It's not a spoiler, but one that really did make my little heart sing with joy. So when Atom Smasher is sort of going into the halls of justice or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's talking to his uncle, who is the original Atom Smasher, and it's Henry Winkler, and I just thought, oh, that is so cool. That's cool. I love the idea of Henry Winkler being the original Atom Smasher.
No, that's awesome.
I did think they were a little light on the Justice Society. I thought, where's the rest of them?
I wonder whether it's like, well, we haven't cast them all yet, so we'll kind of hold off. And I guess this movie was still being made in the time when they really weren't sure what the hell they were doing with this whole universe thing and stuff. So maybe they were like, well, let's keep it light.
Face it, I'm still not 100% convinced they know what they're doing right now either. I think, you know, they've got James Gunn in charge now, which is at least, you know, something.
I think the real plan starts now, doesn't it?
So, I think so.
You know. But well, that's good news. I'm really glad it's good. It looked fun enough.
Yeah, it is. There's some really nice scenes. There's some nice little fight stuff, which, you know, is let's face it, it's what you go for. And they're not, you know, sure, there's lots of stuff that is similar to like I said, like Ant-Man and stuff. But it's just fun. It was really, really fun and really enjoyable, and I liked it.
Awesome. Well, I think I will start with the most positive of the two movies that I watched this week. Not that I disliked either, but this one really surprised me because I wasn't expecting too much from Netflix and their new movie Troll.
I've got that ready to go there.
Directed by someone called Roar, which is a tremendous name. Roar Tang. I think he did Tomb Raider.
Yeah, there was something else.
By the way, I'm going to butcher all of these names in a minute, so just, you know, beware. That's going to happen. So effectively, the movie kind of opens with Nora and her father, young Nora and her father, and they're up in the mountains and they're talking about the existence of trolls. And her father says, you know, they are there. You just need to look for them. And she kind of sees them all as a child in her imagination. She kind of imagines troll faces in the rocks, and then we kind of cut forward to the present day, where she's I think an archaeologist and also like an animal expert, or like maybe a paleontologist as well. So she's digging up a fossil, and the team on site are like, look, you know, the guy there is like, look, we're getting shipped out. We've run out of money. We're never going to find this. You know, we're never going to find what we're looking for. And she's like, my father always told me never to give up. And just as she says that, she actually does find the thing they're looking for. And they're like, tell me that didn't just happen. That's amazing. But anyway, meanwhile, some people, you know, nasty business people are being all businessy and corporate, and they're blowing up the countryside, and there's protesters there, and during the protest, they explode this cave, and would you know it, a big old troll breaks free. And initially they don't know what it is, because it's there's no evidence of it, but then later they find footprints afterwards, or what they think that looks like footprints, but obviously all of the government are like, it's obviously not footprints, it must be anything but footprints. They get Nora involved. She's kind of brought in by the government as an expert on, you know, kind of as one of their many experts, and she's like, well, it's obviously footprints, like, look at it, it's footprints. And they're like, it can't be footprints, you're being ridiculous, it's anything else, it's just sinkholes that happen every few meters or whatever, you know, a few hundred meters. Eventually footage comes out, like camera footage from one of the protesters' phones, and they determine, oh, it actually is like this creature, but the government refused to call it a troll. Like, they're like, it's not a troll, that's ridiculous, even though it clearly is a troll. Which is kind of the running joke of the movie, really, where they're constantly like, fairy tales are fairy tales, even though like there's one staring them right in the face. They're still like, but it can't be that, don't call it that. There's a government official, I forget which one it is, but he just keeps laughing every time they do it. He's like, this is ridiculous, even when they've like literally had military go up against this thing. So
scully levels of ignorance, basically, then.
Yeah, well, one of the things this movie really reminded me of more than anything else is actually Shin Godzilla.
Okay.
In a really good way. It's far more, I'd say there's far more kind of action things going on than Shin Godzilla.
Right.
But it's got that kind of government incompetence comedy sort of thing going on. As they are just all fucking useless and kind of constantly arguing about how to deal with the situation and whatnot. We've got like a military commander, Christopher Holm, I think his name is. He introduces himself as Captain Christopher Holm, and she kind of keeps calling him that throughout the movie. And she reconnects with her father, who she's kind of lost contact with and whatnot. And I won't say, I don't want to kind of spoil too much about it. It's a giant monster movie about a giant troll, and this kind of, you know, realizing that the fairy tales may be true, and of course Nora, having been brought up by her father to believe all of these fairy tales, because he's like this crazy conspiracy theorist now. He believes that trolls are real and that the government have hidden it and all that kind of stuff. So she kind of comes to the conclusion eventually that she's like, well, actually, we've tried all these weapons, all these military hardware and stuff, it's not working. Maybe we should use church bells. Maybe we should actually, maybe the fairy tales are real. Maybe these things actually work.
Okay.
But it's a really lovely story about her kind of reconnecting with her father, and also it's got real heart when it comes to the troll. The troll's not a monster, you know. It's not it's not Godzilla. It's not Shin Godzilla turning up to just wreck stuff. You know, you see a lot of emotion in the troll's face. He's very, you know, you can tell when he's upset, and he won't attack. There's a child at one point that he just actually saves, because the child's about to die, and he actually saves the child and stuff. So it's a giant monster movie with quite a lot of heart, I thought.
Okay.
And
have you seen Troll Hunter?
Yes. So I actually started watching this, and I was like, "Is this a sequel to Troll Hunter?" I don't know, because I loved Troll Hunter.
Because Troll Hunter's fantastic.
This is in no way related to Troll Hunter, but it does kind of have some similarities in its humor. And it almost could be, except obviously in Troll Hunter, the idea is that. So if people haven't watched Troll Hunter, watch it. It's fantastic.
It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
That's a really good found footage movie.
It is.
But the idea with Troll Hunter is that the government know all about trolls, and they've got like all of the power lines are designed to keep the trolls in. In certain areas. So this is not like that. The government do not know about trolls, and they do not believe in trolls at all. This troll just turns up and they're like, oh shit. So basically it's like, well, what if in today's modern society in Norway today, a troll actually rose up out of a cave? Basically, that's what we've got. So, while her father believes that it's all a big conspiracy and stuff, and he's mostly right. Like everything he pretty much says is right, but I'm pretty sure he says that the government are covering it up or whatever, and that's not the case. But ultimately, I thought this had really good performances, like top to bottom. I thought the score was fantastic. Cinematography is great. And I really enjoyed the action as well. I really can't fault this film. I had a really good time watching this. I was not expecting much. I didn't even know it was out. I was just scrolling through and I came across it. I think it came out yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't have. I know it was coming out, but I didn't have a chance to watch it. So I will watch it.
I knew I wanted to watch something else, and I came across it, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go, and I was absolutely hooked. Thought it was a fantastic movie. Certainly the strongest Netflix movie I can think of this year so far. So
okay.
So yeah, that was Troll. What else have you watched?
So I will go with 1899.
Now this is a series I'm really, really excited to watch because I thought the trailer looked really interesting. So
this is it's a Netflix series, and it's by and I'm gonna mess up their names.
I purposely didn't say names of people in that last review.
Baran Bo Odar, and I believe it's his wife, Janti Frisi. Okay. I'm really sorry. So they previously had made Dark.
Okay, now Dark I am aware of. Lots of people love Dark.
Is amazing. I love that show. I'm pretty sure I reviewed it at some point. I absolutely love that series. It's a fucking brilliant time travel series that pretty much works with very few sort of niggly nitpicks, other than there's a few things that you just go okay, but it's one of the best time travel series I've ever seen.
Right.
So this is, I was going to say, slightly different. So this is set in 1899, and we are introduced to a group of characters from all over the world. Basically, they're all different nationalities, and they're all on this ship. Going from, I think it's supposed to be from England to New York.
Right.
And obviously they're all there for, they all seem to have things that they're either running away from or getting to. So you've got Moira, who seems to be on the hunt for her brother, who was on a ship, a sister ship of this.
Right.
Which has disappeared months ago.
Okay.
And you've got the captain, Eric, who was played by Andreas Bischman, who is...
I will say I am wondering whether the poster is a massive spoiler.
Looks
like it might be.
Possibly. Probably not as spoiler as you'd think.
Okay. There's just a fucking massive triangle on it. So,
yes. Well, I mean,
it's like,
you'd think that would give things away, but it actually doesn't.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So Eric is played by an actor from Dark, so which is really cool. You've got Anurin Bernard, who turns up sort of a few episodes in, and you're not quite sure, what he is and what's going on with him.
Right.
There's a Chinese woman who's pretending to be a Japanese woman. There's a sort of a woman who appears to be like a madam. There is a Polish guy working in the engine room. They're from all sort of walks of life, and they're all sort of all nationalities, and basically they get a distress call from the other ship, and they're basically, well, okay, so we're going out of our way on the journey to see this ship, and obviously some of the passengers are like, okay, well, fine, this is interesting to see what happened to the ship. Other people are like, oh, we need to be in New York. What, this is in preposterous. We're not, like, we shouldn't be going to see this. They're obviously all dead. They've been missing for months. There's no way they could have survived. But obviously they get to the ship, and it looks like it's been underwater.
Right.
Because there's like seaweed all over it, and it looks like it's a bit wrecked. But there's basically nobody on board, except for in a cupboard they find a small child holding a stone pyramid.
Okay.
Who doesn't speak, who says nothing. And basically they go back to the ship, and weirdness happens.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, and I don't want to really go in.
That's fair.
Too much into it. But there are obviously there are weird sort of dimensional shifts. Let's say there are odd things that happen, things disappear, things that reappear. There are odd things with beetles that open locks on doors. It's fucking weird and brilliant. I loved it. I would say it's not quite as good as Dark, but it's really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. It's hard to sort of say too much without trying to give anything away.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But there's the main.
It kind of struck me as one of those series where half the fun is trying to figure out what's
going
on, and
exactly.
kind of, yeah.
You've got a thing with almost each episode starts with a character sort of flashback, and then someone saying "wake up," and then waking up on the ship.
Right.
And you have a thing with the Moira, the main character. I would say she's the main character, played by Emily Beecham, who she's looking for her brother, and it looks there are times where she keeps dreaming about being in an asylum, and her father looks like he ran this asylum, and he's doing possibly mind experiments, brain experiments with things, and there's obviously a link there, and you're not quite sure whether that's real or whether she's just dreaming it. But there's obviously, lots of these sort of what's quite, not knowing what's going on. And like I said, it's hard to talk about without giving anything away. But I think it's really well done. It's beautifully done. I think it's mostly done on the ship with, on sets with the green screen technology type stuff.
Sure.
But it looks pretty good most of the time. It's filmed really nicely. The almost every performance is really good, and considering it must have been a real headache because it's a pretty multinational cast, and I don't know how everyone's language skills were. My guess is that almost everybody speaks English. Just to some degree or another, but I imagine there's the potential there for all kinds of mistakes and whatever. But I really love this series. It's got some really lovely little ideas in it. I think the overall what's going on. Some people may guess, some people may not. You get stuff happens quite quickly, so certain things are revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Early-ish, I would say. But if you want to see a genuinely good, weird Tales type stuff, I highly recommend this. It's really, really good, really brilliant. And at some point, I'd like to discuss it when we can do spoilers and talk about the odd things that happen and how things fit into each other. But
sure.
I really, really loved it. I thought it was really, really good.
Oh, well, that's great news. I'm glad. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. I've heard very good things. So, yeah. Cool. Well, I watched Terrifier 2. I know you were planning on watching the first one.
I was,
this one,
yeah.
I guess you didn't get time.
No.
So I've previously watched Terrifier. Thought it was fine. It is what it is, really. Well, it's not that it's a bad film. It's good at what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
It just is that, right? It's about a clown called Art, and he basically goes on a murderous rampage in the first film, and spoiler, he ends up dying at the end. But he's resurrected by an unknown force. And then we have Terrifier 2, which basically,
the enthusiasm in your voice is outstanding.
No, it's not right. So I had a good time. I had a good time watching this movie.
Okay.
I just need to say, it just is. This film just is. Right. I watched it and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I thought this film was. And there's all of this talk at the moment of like controversy and oh my god, it's like the shockingest film ever, and there's all of this like, oh, it's gone too far this time. And like, honestly, I don't know if we are, as like horror fans, are just desensitized to this stuff, but it's so ridiculous. Like yes, there is that scene which you've heard about, I'm sure.
Yes.
I
still don't know the full details of that scene. All I know is that scene that people threw up on and things like that. And
so he he basically slices this girl's eye and then scalps her and then flays her back and then breaks one of her arms off and then pours bleach and salt over her and
Jesus.
And yeah, so it's like Jesus, but like watching it, it's like it's just fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like it's not
so
done in a gritty way. It's
okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like schlocky,
silly and over the top, as opposed to like those Japanese movies that we've discussed.
No, not like that. This is like, to me anyway, it's just silly. I mean, I distinctly remember in the first Terrifier there's a scene where he chainsaws someone in half, like literally down the middle.
Yeah.
Or up the middle, I should say. And it's like, it's just silly. I don't know what else to say. It's silly. The plot is like absolutely nonsensical. He's just been resurrected, and like things for reasons. Things don't make a whole lot of sense. It does follow on from the first one. I had to kind of remind myself of what happened in the first one, but Wikipedia helped. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't really know what to say about this film. I was kind of like, do I even review it? I don't have much to say other than it's a slasher movie. It's clearly going for the shocks and the over the top gore. Some great practical effects. I mean, I will give them that. It really is got some great practical effects. The plot is nonsense. It barely makes any sense. There's just some really weird stuff that happens. They're just like, what is going on? Like, weird dream sequences and things. But overall, I had fun. I laughed a lot. I thought it was nice and silly. It's very gory. And there is something about clowns, isn't there? Clowns in horror.
Genuinely, I do not like clowns. I have never liked clowns.
Well, then this film may scare you a bit more than your average person.
Clowns have always creeped me out.
He is creepy. He's certainly a creepy clown. I'll give him that. He's got a very creepy expression.
They don't tend to use him so much anymore, but years ago they use him all the time. And once, many moons ago, I was stood in the queue in McDonald's, and there was somebody dressed as Ronald
McDonald.
Yeah, he was walking around the restaurant, and I was so uneasy. As soon as he started coming close to me, I was moving away.
I don't know any kid that, like, any time I've seen like clowns at parties, like footage of clowns at parties, they just cry. Kids just hate them. I don't know why they do it. It's weird.
Just weirdest things. I don't know why people would even find them remotely.
Does anyone even hire clowns anymore? Is that even a thing?
I know there was years. I can't remember which movie it was. There was one years ago where it must have been it. It must have been it. The last time it came out, I know that like the Clown Association of Britain sort of thing was like chucking a fit because people weren't hiring clowns anymore, and they were finding them scary. And you think, well, yeah, that's because they are bloody scary.
I don't get it.
I don't even think you need like scary teeth and blood all over them to make them look scary.
I almost think if you were hiring a clown, you'd be hiring it for the creepy factor.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll hire a clown for my creepy Halloween party or something. That kind of makes sense.
Yep.
I don't have a thing for clowns either way. I've enjoyed clown horror movies. I enjoyed it, both the original and I like the remake. I enjoyed Clown is probably my favorite of the clown movies. That movie's hilarious.
It is. Yeah, there's so many, you know.
Yeah, because there's the like Ross Noble one, and
it's
actually
not too bad either.
No, it's all right.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is hilarious.
Well, of course, and that's still my favorite clown designs. I think.
Yeah, those puppets are amazing.
Incredible, yeah. So Art is certainly up there. He's got a very creepy look and makes for a cool slasher villain. It's extremely over the top, is extremely gory. It's very silly. Which is why I kind of feel like the controversy is a bit unwarranted. It's just silly, you know. But and I don't know who the fuck is watching Terrifier 2 if you don't know what you're getting yourself in for.
Yeah, there is a certain amount of I'm gonna watch like Friday the 13th and complain when he murders
Part 4. You know, it's like it's the second one. Presumably you saw the first one, and now you're like, oh, but this time he's gone too far.
Yeah, I mean, it's
when he was like eating the like lead actress's face off in the first one, that was fine. But now you've gone too far.
If you wander into a movie that's I mean, Friday the 13th. Let's say you've never heard of Friday the 13th. You have no association with Friday the 13th, and you're just watching a movie. I could maybe see that you'd be surprised if you had no idea about it. I mean, why you would have no idea about it, I don't know. But when the movie's called Terrifier,
it's literally, and it's got a picture of a bloody clown on the front.
Yeah, I think it kind of gives it away.
It does a little, I think.
It's not going to be a children's entertainer.
No,
you know, with cats and dogs and stuff in it. It's just not.
No.
I was thinking the other day as well. I mean, who are the big slashers that are left now? Because
apparently isn't Freddy making a comeback now?
Yeah, I've heard that, and I know that the Friday the 13th there's like, I think there's 2 versions of that coming out, isn't there? Because there's really weird rights issues with it.
Probably, yeah.
And I was thinking the most successful one recent times is probably Hatchet.
Yeah, Hatchet's was the big revival, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was like the slasher revival.
Pretty good, from what I remember.
I enjoyed Hatchet. I was recently became aware because I went in. I think I was in like CEX or something. They made like 50 of them now or something. I was like, holy shit, how many of those have come out?
I think I've seen 2, maybe.
Yeah, I think
at the most. But...
Hatchet. Let's have a look. Hatchet movie. I'm pretty sure I was like, oh my god, they made that many. I was like, okay. But yeah, it's you know, how many Hatchet? Do you want to put a bet on it? 4.
Okay,
that's actually less than I thought. But yeah, so you know, I enjoyed Hatchet, and that seemed to be the big comeback for the slasher movies. Obviously, we had the remake of It and stuff, which debatable whether that's a slasher, but you know, he's killing people. So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like most of them are just the old ones that just keep coming back.
Yeah,
you know, it's Freddy, it's Jason, it's Michael Myers.
I mean, I kind of admire the idea of trying to have a new character.
It's iconic already. They've succeeded with Terrifier.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job of putting it in people's minds.
Because Hatchet, as much as I like Hatchet, it is very generic looking.
He is, yeah.
Dude. Whereas they've definitely got a look here.
Another big dude with a blade, really.
He's basically Jason Voorhees, as Jason ended up becoming. Yeah. Whereas, you know, here you have got a very unique looking dude, you know, and he would look perfectly normal next to Chucky on your toy shelf of horror icons, right?
Yeah.
So no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's just silly fun. And if you're in the mood for some silly fun and some really nice practical gore effects, then yeah, absolutely go with Terrifier 2.
Okay.
So what else have you watched?
So I have watched Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future,
which is David Cronenberg's latest movie and his return to body horror.
Welcomed return.
So it stars Viggo Mortensen, Leah Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, Scott Speedman, and so it's in basically a sort of set in a dystopian future. For reasons it doesn't explain, or well, reasons it probably doesn't really know.
Right.
The human race has stopped feeling pain.
Okay.
We've stopped feeling pain, and disease, illnesses have stopped affecting us. So the population is finding weird and new ways to sort of feel things. So there are things like people just stood on the streets cutting into each other and things like that.
Okay.
And within this world,
to be honest, I can imagine stupid shit like that happening.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's like if all of a sudden we couldn't feel pain, dickheads would be on TikTok in no time doing stupid shit like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
So we're introduced to Viggo Mortensen's Soul, who he grows organs. He grows new and unknown
in himself.
Organs within himself. Yes.
Okay.
And
this does sound like a Cronenberg movie.
Yeah. So his partner, Caprice, played by Leah Seydoux, she is an ex-surgeon who now, with him, they do performance art where, basically, he's grown a new organ, and she cuts it out. She tattoos it and cuts it out for an audience.
Right.
So this is the new art.
Okay.
It's a new art form, and there is a board of organ registry, which is sort of government controlled, and basically the government are a little disturbed that people are growing new organs, and
right.
What are we likely to become? And so this is rather like Terrifier. This also was a movie that people walked out of. And
do people really walk out of these movies, or do they just say it? Because I don't buy it. I buy back in the 70s people walking out of The Exorcist.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I buy it today, or if they do, I don't know who these fucking people are and why they went in the first place.
Well, with this one,
this is Cronenberg again. You know what Cronenberg does.
I will say that, but I will also say the specifics of this one, I could kind of see why.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, Terrifier just wears its fucking gore on its chest, and I'm like, I don't understand. But yeah, fair enough.
The thing about this one is, so Cronenberg himself said he could see people walking out within the first 5-10 minutes.
Right.
And
he was right.
Well, I'm going to spoil something slightly here, and I'll explain. When the movie starts, the first character you see is a small boy, who is sort of digging in the dirt in sort of this in some water, and his mother calls down to him and says, "Whatever you find down there, don't eat it."
Okay.
And you think, okay. Well, the next scene is him in his bathroom. Brushing his teeth. It's a disgusting bathroom as well. But then you realise within the movie, everything is disgusting in this movie.
Okay.
Because people have stopped caring about cleanliness, and
because it doesn't matter anymore.
So people have stopped cleaning stuff. So it's all grimy and horrible. So this kid, he's brushing his teeth, and then he sits under the sink and starts eating a plastic bin.
Okay.
Right? And there's some sort of almost like a liquid sort of it's a sort of weird saliva that he seems to be secreting while he's eating this bin. And then here's the spoiler: his mother smothers him and kills him.
Right.
So
fair enough.
It was quite. For me, it was like, oh my god, his mother's just killed him.
Yeah.
And so I could see why people would walk out of that.
No, that's fair.
It does make sense.
That's a different kind of.
It's a different sort of horror that I would understand why people would be upset by. You know, the death of a child is never a good thing. And so, basically, you know, from there we end up. Then we're introduced to Saul and Caprice, and obviously it's a Cronenberg thing. So you get very sort of stilted performances. You get very long sort of discussions on, you know, speeches on things. So it really is a return to sort of form, and it picks up on themes that he's, you know, done before. Yeah. It has the idea of the internal beauty was, I think, a thing that if they first mentioned in Dead Ringers, which I don't know. Have you seen Dead Ringers?
Yeah, I've seen Dead Ringers. Yeah, a long time ago.
Which, you know, that's a movie about twin surgeons who sew themselves back together and create tools for performing surgery on conjoined twins. It's a classic Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
It has sort of, you know, elements of existence in it, and, you know, it has weird technology. So there's Saul is as opposed to everyone else who doesn't feel anything. Saul is in constant pain.
So he's the only one in the world in constant pain?
Well, there does seem to be others,
right? But not many, I guess.
Yeah, not many, and it's to do. It seems to be to do with his ability to grow these organs,
right?
And he sleeps in this bed that moves around. It's supposed to know where his pain is and move. It rotates the bed around. It's a really weird looking upturned beetle that he lies on. That's basically what it looks like.
Okay.
That moves him around, and when we first see it, it's not working properly. So they get these two women show up who are technicians to fix it, and they find out he has this what was it? Is it not Sark? Sark? I think it was called a Sark autopsy table,
right?
Which is what they do the performing art on. Which again is like very Cronenbergian device that looks very, you know, organic. And there's a chair that he has trouble eating and swallowing. He's constantly making like grunting noises and trying to swallow, and he has terrible trouble eating. So he has there's this chair that he sits in that looks like it's made of like dinosaur bones, and it makes these weird noises and moves and sort of wiggles him around to help him swallow.
Right.
So, you know, it's full of those sort of weird Cronenbergian things. I think people are really I know people really disliked it, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I mean, I'm a big Cronenberg fan. So
yeah, me too.
You know, it's one of those things.
You either like that stuff or you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
So this can really be seen in a number of ways. It could be seen as a movie about our environment and what we've done to it, and possibly what will happen to us. It's also a thing about, you know, humanity and governmental control, you know,
sure,
to a certain degree. It's just one of those sort of, I mean, you could describe it as just an art movie if you like. That's kind of, you know, how a lot of people will see it. But I thought it was a very thoughtful movie. I really like the performances. Kirsten Stewart plays a character who works at the organ registry, but you can see that she is massively turned on by watching surgery. They in the movie they describe surgery as the new sex.
Right.
So of course you get those sort of scenes of where Soul and Caprice are on this autopsy table, and they're basically cutting into each other, and it's basically filmed like a sex scene.
Right. Okay.
So if obviously if you're not remotely, if that sort of the idea of that sickens you, then yeah, this is not the movie for you.
No, sure.
But then, like you said, it's a Cronenberg movie and it's a body horror movie. It says it's a return to his body horror. So you should really know what you're getting.
I would imagine so, but this sounds really good. I will have to check this out.
Honestly, it's really good. There were ideas of evolution basically going on in this, and to do with honestly, by the end, I think it's a hopeful movie in a way.
Well, that's good.
Well, that's the way I saw it anyway. I know lots of people have interpreted it in different ways, but I saw it as a relatively hopeful but bleak movie. Yeah. It is not a happy movie, and there are some sort of it's not as graphic as you would think.
Sure, it's just a lot of implied stuff, I guess.
Yeah, there are some gross things that you see. I mean, obviously, you see surgery. You see him getting cut open, and you see organs and things. But it's not honestly as grotesque as you would think. That sort of would be. I think something like Videodrome is way more grotesque than this movie.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to take it as a hopeful movie, purely for the fact that it took him off the fucking set of Discovery and got him into a fucking doing what he does best.
Bear in mind that it is, there is the death of a child at the beginning, and there is a child's autopsy. I will say that as well. There's a child's autopsy.
So a slight trigger warning for.
So there are some genuinely unpleasant things in it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a real good return to his roots. And I've liked all of his, I would say, more mainstream movies. I suppose if you could say that about Maps to the Stars and things. But I really liked it. I think it was a really good, and I would say a really thoughtful movie. I've seen some reviews where they're like saying, "Oh, nothing happened and it was terrible and all the performances were rubbish." And it's like, no, that's kind of, for me, that was what he was going for. Clearly what he was going for.
Yeah, that was the intent. Yeah.
The performances are like they are, and it does. People were saying it doesn't explain anything. It's like, well, what were you watching? Because in my mind, it explained everything.
Some people just need things just spelled out, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Subtext is just lost on a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would say it's a hopeful movie, but a very grim movie.
It sounds great. I'll definitely be checking that out. So anyway, I've watched one episode of, actually about half an episode of Wednesday, and you've watched more.
I watched the series, yeah.
So let's discuss it, because my experience of Wednesday was I thought the trailer looked fun.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It was fun, and it was very Addams Family like. I was kind of pleased, as much as I've enjoyed the other interpretations, it was fun seeing that comic book accurate look to Gomez. I was like, cool.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And I was all for it. So I watched episode 1 and I thoroughly disliked it. For me, the whole point of the Addams Family is that they are the oddballs. They are, the weirdos in society, but they don't necessarily realize they're weird. That's just the way they are. They're living their life, and everyone else is like, you're weird. And so the idea of Wednesday going to a normal school, regular school, really fun. And I was like, this is cool. In the opening, I was like, this is good fun, I'm enjoying this. But then 10 minutes in, they're like, well, let's take her out of her regular school and take her to a school with fucking vampires and werewolves, and basically, someone cancelled our fucking Sabrina show, so we just want to make that again. So at that point, I really checked out. I ended up watching about 20 minutes, and if I'm honest, the last 5 minutes, I was looking at my phone and paying no attention. For me, it just spectacularly missed the point of what the Addams Family is and what I want from an Addams Family show. Even if it is focusing on Wednesday, if they kept it in the regular school, I would have been all for it. However, a friend of mine absolutely hated episode 1, quit as well.
Yep.
But then the next day they went back to it and they were like, actually, after episode 1, It's actually really good. So you continued. I gather you had a very similar experience to me, and you continued. So
yeah, I watched this with my wife and my brother-in-law. We were around his, and we watched 1899 together as well. So we made a weekend of it, and so we started watching Wednesday.
Yeah,
and we watched the first episode, and we all looked at each other at the end. And you'd already sent me the messages that
I did send you
I was prepared. I thought, well, I'm not gonna tell them what you said.
No.
I thought I'll leave them to make up their own minds. I won't say anything. All I'll say is, I've received some messages, and that's all I will say.
Yeah.
So that alone says something. But anyway, so I watched the first episode. We all looked at each other, and we were like, "Oh, fucking hell, that was rough." That was really not good. They crammed as much as they possibly could into that episode.
Yeah.
And it was all over the place. And
yeah, you could even make an argument if she was in the normal school for like half the series, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And my wife said, let's just give it another episode, and then if it's shit,
that's the nail in the coffin. Yeah.
Exactly. Sure. We'll because it's become less and less over the years. But with us, it used to be we'd watch 3 episodes, and if it wasn't doing anything after episode 3, then you'd give up on the series.
See, maybe I should do that. I've reached the point now where I'm like 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, I'm like, done, move on.
But that's exactly it. I think it's over the years it's become 2 episodes, and then it's became 1 episode.
There's too much good stuff out there now, so I'm like, I'm not wasting my time on this if it's rubbish. I'll move on to something better.
Rubbish stuff out there. So it's that's the problem, isn't it? There's so much crap as well.
Oh man, I was saying the other day, I don't know if I said it to you. My continue watching on Amazon Prime and Netflix is a fucking unusable shit show. There's like 10 minutes of so many things, just like where I've cancelled.
So the Sabrina series is another one that I stopped watching because I
enjoyed it, but I was like, I don't want to watch it again with Wednesday.
So it really did pick up after episode 2. Episode 2 was like, actually, that was genuinely fun.
Great.
And a lot more interesting. Right. What I will say is Jenna Ortega is amazing as Wednesday.
Oh, the casting, superb from what I've seen. Yeah.
She completely holds the whole series together. I think if it wasn't for her, this series would suck.
Okay.
It really would.
I thought she was great. From what the little I've seen, I thought she was fantastic.
I thought Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liz Guzman as Morticia and Gomez were terrible.
Okay, I didn't see enough. They annoyed me in episode 1, but I didn't see enough.
They did not work for me at all. Yeah. Lurch was barely in it. I don't even think he got. Say lines. Drives
the car.
He basically, that's kind of it, which is fine. It is Wednesday's story after all.
Sure, yeah. I didn't expect the rest of the Addams being it that much anyway. So
yeah. Thing is great. Thing is because Thing basically is initially sent to spy on her, but then basically becomes her
her Salem,
her tool. But yeah, basically her Salem. It's her tool.
When he turned up, I was like, "Yep, that's the Salem." There we go.
Like it's really it's like they do the good thing, which they kind of did in the movies, of making him a complete personality with just a hand, and he's got a whole personality. He's funny.
Have you seen the blue screen of the guy?
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I love that. But there's photos of the guy in blue suit with just his hand
on her shoulder. Yeah, it's like weirdly creepy, isn't it?
Weirdly creepy, but kind of endearing. You see him trying to walk because obviously he has to do the hand, so he's like crouched down, like trying to walk behind her. It's hilarious.
Yeah. The guy they got playing Gomez, I actually thought was okay. Fred Armisen, who I'm not a massive fan of usually. He's been in some interesting. He's played some interesting characters, and he's been in some stuff that I thought was okay in, but I'm not a massive fan. I actually thought his Fester was. I think he's only really in like 1, maybe 2 episodes, which was fine. But I thought actually he played him quite well considering. There are so many weird questions that you just kind of have to ignore.
Sure.
Things like why was Wednesday sent to 8 normal schools before she went to this school?
Yeah, like, right?
That Gomez and Morticia went to, and were
And
like
the perfect place.
We're like the
for
king
them.
and queens of.
Yeah.
You know, why did it take 8 schools before they sent her there? That doesn't fucking make sense. Also, they sent her to this school, and she's basically sent because she puts piranhas in the swimming pool, and
I mean, that's
these
like
kids who are bullying Gomez, bullying Pugsley.
Now,
And one of the kids loses a testicle.
It's a fucking, like, you'd be in care for the rest of your fucking childhood if you did something like that. But fine. I mean, I expect that kind of silliness with the Addams Family. So I was like, okay, you know.
And all of the kids at this school, full of vampires and werewolves and sirens and all sorts of creatures, they're scared of her. Why?
She's just a normal girl.
Yeah, she's just a weird kid.
Yeah, I thought that. It was like everything that's meant to be special about her has been removed when you put her in a fucking school with werewolves and vampires and shit. It's like, she's just...
They're trying to make her weird within the context of...
But that's the thing, it's at odds with itself.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly.
It's
it doesn't
so
make
weird.
Sense.
Such a strange setup.
Some of the kids are like, I hear she killed 2 students at her last school. It's like...
You're a werewolf.
You're a fucking werewolf. Exactly, you're a fucking werewolf. You're a vampire or a siren or whatever.
So strange.
What? It just doesn't make sense. And to be honest, the series is full of things like that just don't really make sense.
Yeah.
However, it kind of works, mainly due to her.
Well, that's good. I'm glad, and I heard it improved a lot, so I'm glad about that.
And I love. At first, you know, she's supposed to the character of Enid, her roommate, played by Emma Myers. By the end of it, she plays a werewolf who can only grow claws. She's never wolfed out. So her family are like trying to take her to werewolf conversion camps and stuff like which obviously is alluding to other things.
Sure.
You know, which is sort of quite grim. But I thought we were done quite well, but she is really funny. I genuinely thought from the initial sort of, she's the annoying roommate.
Sure.
Yes, she is the annoying roommate, but she actually becomes really charming, and I really loved her. There's been some complaints that there are 2 black actors who are bullies. There have been complaints that, why are the black players? People who are making those complaints clearly haven't watched the whole fucking series.
Oh, really? They just reacted to like one episode and didn't.
Yeah,
okay.
Because those two characters get complete redeem arcs.
Well, like well written characters, right?
Yeah,
that's
they get redeeming arcs, and the main. There are 3 main bad guys basically. All 3 of them are white, so they clearly didn't watch the whole fucking show.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, yes, sure. The initial 2 characters, the 2 black actors, one the siren, who's amazingly bitchy and really quite funny at times.
Yeah.
She has a complete arc where you find out why she's a bit. It's like amazing. They actually give her a character. They tell you why she's a bitch. They tell you why her family life sucks. Shock, horror.
But
no wonder she's a bully. It's like
that's good writing. Like I thought that with
And I'm not even saying. I mean, I'm saying that it's not even that well written. It's
but
just
it's
that
something, right?
Do it. You know what I mean?
I felt that way with Midnight Club. With what's her name, who's like a really bitchy character, and then you're like, no, I totally understand why now. Like,
and the Midnight Club did an amazing job of making her. You hate her, and then
realize that you actually love her.
Probably not everybody had felt the same way, but I think most people feel that she was an amazing character, and you see why she was horrible.
But it's just a recent example of a bully character or a bitter, horrible character that you later come to love, and you realize, there's reasons behind this because people aren't 2-dimensional, you know. Exactly.
There's so much wrong with it,
but you got past it. That's
really enjoyed it. It is not a terribly good Addams Family series, I would say. You know, if you're looking for the Addams Family, probably not
this. Yeah, sure.
Because it's not really a good Addams Family series. It is a very interesting Wednesday show.
Mm.
And like I said, it's completely held together by her. There is an amazing scene of they're at a dance, and she does this amazing dance.
I've seen that. I've seen
Cramps' Googamuck.
Yeah.
Which I loved. One, I was really impressed that they played the fucking Cramps' Googamuck anyway. And her dance is amazing. It was really funny and really, complete Wednesday.
Mm.
So,
cool.
I mean, I think, for fuck's sake, Burton actually did a really good job. It feels incredibly Burton-esque. There's lots of little weird things that just scream Burton, from the sets to the characters.
Sure.
The CG on some of the monsters is awful, especially the sort of one of the main bad guys. There's this annoying thing where one of the characters he can bring to life what he draws, and basically when they go into his studio, he has these paintings and drawings all over the place of this monster, and on the pictures it looks amazing. It's like, wow, why couldn't they make it look like that? When you see the actual CG monster, it's almost laughable. I think it's the eyes. He's got these really big sort of googly eyes, and the CG makes them these sort of weird shiny things, and they just look like massive ping pong balls, and it's not good. I mean, if you can suspend your disbelief, then you're fine. But the CG monsters are not good. But overall, I think it's worth another look.
Okay,
honestly, because I did really enjoy it.
I will give it another
give
go.
it one more episode. Give it episode 2, and if you don't like it, then fair enough.
I will do that.
Because it is not a great series by any means, but it is enjoyable.
Okay, that's cool. I will definitely go. So that's it for everything we've watched. But yesterday, a million trailers happened, so I guess we should probably talk about that.
Yeah. What should we start with?
It's completely up to you. Dealer's choice.
Should we start with quite possibly the worst one first?
The worst one first. Which is
Indiana Jones.
Okay, Indiana Jones and the
Now it was a teaser more than a trailer. I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah. It reminded me quite a bit of Crystal Skull in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the way that the trailer was very nostalgia heavy and
I mean, it was lovely to see Salah and hear that voice. That was
John Rhys-Davies is always good to see.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, there was.
So my immediate reaction, the thing that immediately pissed me off, upon my first viewing of this trailer, not to start with a negative, but immediately, is the line, "I don't believe in magic." I was like, motherfucker, you literally found the Holy Grail. You saw God fucking melt the faces of 5 Nazi officers.
Yep.
You don't believe in magic.
Mm-hmm.
You were stabbed in the heart by someone stabbing a voodoo doll.
Yep.
The fuck?
Yep.
Right? So that annoyed me. Probably more than anything else in the trailer. That line. It's such a trailer line, but it annoyed me so much.
I mean, like we said earlier on, that we're talking about Scully moments. Really? It's like, for fuck's sake.
You're really going to deny that magic exists?
You've literally seen people age to death before your very eyes.
And you've seen wounds healed.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So that was an initial.
I don't believe in magic, but I've seen some things. It's like, fuck off.
You've seen some things, all right.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. It just, no, that was terrible. It slightly annoyed me that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is Marcus Brody's kid.
Yeah, I don't really know her from much. I know she has a reputation, but
yeah, I think so. I have seen Fleabag, and I actually really like it. It's really good.
I've heard good things about that.
It's a really good really good series. It's
Yeah.
really dark. It's really funny. I think the first season was better than the second, but it's still really good. And she is actually a really good writer. However, whether that would equate to Indiana Jones, I'm not really sure. But
I feel it's difficult. Like any, I don't want to say any. I mean, Short Round was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, generally being a side character or potential Indiana Jones replacement is not going to go well for you.
No,
I mean, it didn't go well for Mutt, now did it? So
no, it really didn't.
Good old Shia. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. There wasn't a lot in the trailer to know.
No, I mean, I thought the title was terrible.
The Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. Yeah, it's just sort of, oh dear. It just brings up visions of the Pick of Destiny. And...
It does. I mean, even like, I mean, I hated Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But that's a great name. That sounds like an Indiana Jonesy name. Dial of Destiny. It sounds like a joke.
I'm not as big a hater on Crystal Skull as most people seem to be. There are stuff I like in Crystal Skull.
It's just a remake of Raiders.
It's not a good movie. It's a pretty terrible fucking movie.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's me saying I quite like bits of it.
There are bits I like of it. It's not like I hated it outright completely. It's just a remake of Raiders, like in the end.
It kind of is.
I mean, even with the close your eyes, don't look at it thing.
Yes, I mean, I was really happy to see Marion back.
Oh yeah, I mean, things like that are always going to win me over. Like in this trailer, I was like, "Hey, it's John Rhys Davies."
Exactly,
awesome,
that's it, isn't it?
But he's going to be in it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, he's not going to be in it for very long, is he? And I don't. How old is John Rhys Davies now? He must be getting on.
Not as much as fucking Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of de-aging, clearly.
Oh,
a lot of flashbacks or something going on.
Yeah, well, there's clearly time travel going on.
If there's time travel, this film can get in. Well, I mean, to be honest, the odds of me watching this are very slim. I'll just say that out right now. But if there's time travel, this can get right in the bin. I'll say that now.
The rumor is that Indy is going to be wiped from history, and she will be the replacement. That's the rumor.
They won't do that. Surely they won't do that.
I mean, come on, dude. The way you've seen how they've ruined every franchise going.
Yeah, but
10 years.
But erasing it from history is like such like.
I would like to believe that's true.
It feels like even for Disney that would be a step.
But I honestly don't believe that. I don't believe that that rumor is true.
It seems extreme.
There's also a part of me that thinks, well,
I wouldn't put it past them. I guess.
There's, the stuff that we think that they've done that they wouldn't
true.
do.
If you told me that they've done a lot of the stuff they've done, I would have been like, no, they don't.
Exactly.
That's fair.
So it's not out of reason.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Exactly.
I think you cannot replace Harrison Ford as Indy, and no character is going to take over. I think they proved that with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Shia LaBeouf. It's not. No one is going to accept it. It's a terrible idea.
You have to have somebody who is universally loved on a scale of Harrison Ford to replace him.
I just think the only way you would do it is to recast Indiana Jones.
Yes.
I just no character can replace Indiana Jones. The film's called Indiana Jones. What are you going to call the next one? Do you know what I mean? Like it just.
Well, they keep trying to. They keep. There is a number of things that keep trying to put Chris Pratt forward as Indy.
Will it be like a Rey Skywalker bit at the end where she's like, I'm Indiana Jones because
exactly
because I was called Indiana because that's how much my father loved you, Indy, and I'm going to take on your last name even though it's not my last name.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh.
It'll end with her in the desert, and then some random person will just rock up and be like, "What's your name?" And she'll be like, "Indiana Jones."
Oh God. Yeah,
Make it happen.
and you can see the thing as well. You can see that the hat rolling towards her, and you can see her picking
the
the
wind.
hat up,
Oh yeah.
saying the words while she puts the hat on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make it happen, Disney.
Oh God,
make all my dreams come true. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it, to be honest. So whatever.
And I think that's it. So many people hate Crystal Skull so much.
I mean, I will say,
there's no way people want to see this.
I will say, I have my canaries that go down in the mine and watch these things. If they come back and they're like, actually, dude, it's really good, then I will. But I'm certainly gonna let them watch it first. I'm not. I'm not touching this.
I mean, I honestly can't imagine Disney doing a good job with it.
My faith in Disney being able to produce anything of merit at this point is it's dwindling to the point of nothingness. Anything I've really enjoyed by them has been a Fox property that they've just grabbed and then put on their streaming site. Because like Prey was not them, right? It was Fox.
I don't think so. I think it was. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, if it was them, then fair enough. I really enjoyed Prey.
So, I mean, we haven't actually reviewed
The King's Man was great, but that was another Fox property.
Yeah, we haven't reviewed it, but we did. We've both seen it. And we've both discussed it. Werewolf by Night. You didn't like it. I did
not like it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was people said, "Oh, it's a homage to Universal," and I thought I can see that, but for me, it was more like the EC Comics. It was more of that sort of.
I am definitely in the minority. A lot of people liked Werewolf by Night.
It was really fun. It was, they did a relatively good job of making a little spooky horror thing. Yeah. So I think that's one of the best things they've done for a while for me.
Sure. I mean, it was better than Obi-Wan, which is the other thing I watched of theirs. So,
I mean, there's a lot of talk about Andor being really good.
Yeah, I don't care.
That seems to be getting very mixed response.
It sounds like it. The thing is, I saw an article the other day, and the article was like, Andor is the series that you've been wanting this whole time, so why aren't you watching it? And I was like, because it's too late. I don't care about Star Wars anymore. I literally don't care. It could be the best show on earth. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I have no interest in Star Wars at all. You have drained any care I ever had for that. I literally now, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I don't think there's even going to be a time when I put the original trilogy on at this point. I'm so done with it. I just don't care. Like, I just don't care anymore. So it's like, yeah, it could be great, but like, I don't care. Sorry, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason. It's too late. Because I hear The Mandalorian's great. And I haven't bothered watching any of, like, I watched like half of season 1.
I really like The Mandalorian. Again, it's another one of those. There's so much wrong with it, but it's really enjoyable. I'm not sure I'm going to watch the third season, but
yeah. But anyway, so Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The trailer's like, I guess it's fine. I mean, the de-aging is going to be bad. I mean, it looked pretty good in the trailer, but that's the trailer.
It was a very quick shot, and it was in shadow.
It looks, again, it's got that. I mean, obviously, Harrison Ford is like 100 years old, so I'm not arguing this. But it gave me instant Crystal Skull vibes with how much CG was going on with him, like jumping from car to car and all of that stuff. Is who knows? I'll let other people watch it. If they tell me it's good, then I'll give it a go. But I seriously doubt I will end up watching this.
Yeah.
So what was next on the list anyway?
Well, we might as well move from one Disney project to another then. Let's go for Guardians.
Okay, yeah, Guardians. Okay, cool. It looked like a Guardians movie.
Yeah.
I don't really have any strong feelings on this one. I thought it looked fine. It's James Gunn's last hurrah for Marvel, right?
I think this is the only reason why I'm interested, is that it's still James Gunn at least.
Well, and those Guardians films, I've enjoyed those Guardians films for generally being nice and for the most part separate from everything else going on in Marvel. So that, even because, like, obviously the first one you had Thanos as a thing, turned up once or something, but generally it's like a self-contained story, and then even the second one, it had very little to do with the rest of the MCU. It was just his own thing. So I'm kind of down with it from that perspective, and I do enjoy sci-fi and space stuff. So
exactly. they were fun little space operas, and I really appreciate them. The first one is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
I would agree. It's up there for me.
Brilliant movie, the first one, and I really like the second one. I think it gets a lot of shit, but I think
I can't dislike Kurt Russell in anything.
Exactly.
It's just not possible.
Yeah, no, it's not possible. I haven't seen the Christmas special.
Apparently, it's cheesy fun. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it didn't really make me go, oh, I must see this movie, but It did make me go, I will definitely watch it. Mainly because I'm invested in the characters. I like them all. They're all really good characters. James Gunn is still in charge.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he hasn't been interfered with too much. The Adam Warlock looked a bit weird, but fine. I like Will Poulter, so I'm happy for Will Poulter to be Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
I like the little otter, from the thing. I did think that the outfits they got them in, I know they're like comic accurate, but they're not very flattering.
Do you not find like the Marvel outfits are getting worse and worse?
Yeah.
Like generally their first appearance was their best appearance, and ever since then everything looks like Iron Man outfits for the most part.
Yes.
Like all of them. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's going to be fine. I think
they got to sell the new toys though. They can't have them in the same outfit as last time.
That's true. Yeah, I think out of the current list of Marvel stuff that's going to come out, this is probably the one that I'm most hopeful for.
It's about the only one that there's a chance I'll watch.
Yeah, I don't think the Ant-Man one's going to doesn't look terribly good. And I quite liked Ant-Man. But
I enjoyed the first Ant-Man. Yeah. I don't really remember much of the second one. I did watch it.
Yeah, the second one's pretty forgetful. It's, forgettable, I should say.
Yeah.
It had some interesting stuff in it. There were some nice scenes in it, but overall it was, no. So, but yeah, I think it was an all right trailer. It was pretty.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine. It was, I think they're probably gonna kill off a few people here. I think probably.
Oh, it's their Transformers the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess so. Speaking of Transformers, should we go into that one?
Transformers, I don't know the name of it.
Rise of the Beasts, is it?
That sounds about right. And obviously we've got the Beast Wars characters now coming into this tired old knackered franchise that, by all accounts, should be long in the bin, but somehow Bumblebee turned out to be really good fun. So
this is my annoyance with this trailer. So this trailer happens, and it's like, oh, of course, they've gone back to before Bumblebee. They've gone back to the Michael Bay Transformers.
Well,
for fuck's sake. And I know why they did it, because Bumblebee didn't do what they wanted to do, which is really annoying, because Bumblebee is fucking great.
I loved Bumblebee.
Yeah, me too. Bumblebee was an amazing movie, but sadly, it didn't do the numbers that the crap ones did. So their basically answer is, well, we'll just go back to how we did them before then.
So this is a sequel to the Bay ones, is it?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Or is it going to be like a weird merging of the two?
I think it's going to be a merging. I think some of the designs look like they might be more from Bumblebee, but I think overall it looks more like it's going to be a Bay movie.
Okay. I mean, I will say that last movie, there is some goodwill there to where I might check this one out, because I did really enjoy Bumblebee. Yeah,
that's the thing. Bumblebee was so fucking good.
And there's nothing in this trailer I really hated. It looked fine.
I kind of like that they got RC in it.
Yeah, it's awesome to see RC.
RC.
And I did laugh at the scene where she's like, This is fake. This is fake. And then she kind of looks over and RC's just like waving at her.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see Jazz in a Porsche. Being a Porsche.
Was it Jazz?
I don't know. I guess if it's post Michael Bay, then no, it's not, because Jazz definitely got ripped in half. In the first film. Not that I guess that stops them, but you know.
Well, no, they could. I mean, they could definitely be put back together. I guess. I mean, even in the comics, they brought them.
Optimus Prime has died more than anyone.
Yeah. So you know, that's like it's not really an issue.
No, it's not.
I hated the soundtrack in this fucking trailer. It's like, why do they keep putting these trailers of just people going, yeah.
I think that's modern music, Matt. We're just out of touch.
I mean, yeah, definitely old rock dudes here whinging about rap music, but God, it just
does sound very generic, I must admit.
Yeah, it doesn't really help sell it to me, certainly. But then I'm a miserable old git. But I honestly can't see why it would sell to that fucking noise would sell to anybody. For me, it's just I just don't want to see another Bay Transformers movie.
No, me either. I want to see a Bumblebee movie.
Bumblebee had such heart and was
it was fun.
Such fun, and everybody in it was doing their best to not make it a Bay movie.
Yeah, they went out of their way to be like, this is not.
And it's just so sad that nobody went to bloody see it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'm guilty of that, but the only reason I didn't go to see it was because of the bloody Bay ones, not because of that one.
That's probably what happened, isn't it? That people were kind of...
And I kind of kicked myself when I finally watched it, because I was like, oh my God, it's actually a really good movie. It's really fun.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not Shakespeare or anything, but, you know.
Yeah, it looked fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
Fine is a good word for it. Well, I guess we've got Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that trailer, I'd heard about Cocaine Bear for a while.
Yes.
It's been a kind of ongoing joke, I guess.
I heard about... Well, that's the thing. I heard someone talking about it, and I thought, what the fuck are they talking? That just sounds made up.
Yeah. So...
And the trailer dropped yesterday, was it? Or the
yesterday, I think. And I saw the trailer, and I was like, that does look exactly like I was expecting Cocaine Bear to be, so that's fine.
I watched the trailer and had to watch it again.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like simultaneously terrible and amazing.
The CGI bear is awful.
But it kind of makes it better for it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, ideally, I would have wanted a guy in a suit. But like a really bad suit as well at that. Like not a good bear suit, like a really crap one. But no, do you know what? It looks hilarious.
I mean, it was nice to see Ray Liotta.
Yeah, I think probably his last movie, right?
I think he was working on a movie when he died, which I don't think was this one.
Dude, if I had a long career and the last movie I ever made before I died was Cocaine Bear, I would be so fucking happy with that.
But the thing is,
that is my end game. Go out on a movie called Cocaine Bear. I
don't realise that Ray Liotta was really funny.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's really funny.
Funny roles.
Yeah.
But people want the intense bad guy, so he didn't. They're quite few and far between.
Yeah.
But I just thought this looked so ridiculous and so brilliant.
It looks fun.
It's the best trailer I've seen in ages.
I laughed in the trailer. That's good.
I mean, the funny thing is they show you, dismembered corpses and kids swearing, which is just funny.
It will never not be funny.
Is the kid was he the kid from Sweet Tooth?
I am not sure. Possibly.
I think that he was. Let me have a look a second.
But yeah, I thought it was fun.
Honestly, the best trailer I've seen from fucking. It's the same kid from Sweet Tooth. It was just pure joy.
Yeah. It's everything I want, apart from a guy in a suit, in a bear suit. It's everything I want.
Yeah.
So fine.
I'm totally looking forward to that. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. I think that was it. Was there anything else?
Just a few brief ones.
Oh no, I meant like trailers. We've done trailers.
Yeah, I think that was it for the trailers. I think, nothing else to chat about. Just a few quick ones that I saw that made me go okay. So a Easy Rider reboot is on the cards,
Okay.
which apparently is going to be.
Is it going to be like Zorro? There'll be computer hackers.
Well, they're saying their goal is to build upon the counterculture of the freedom of narrative that the original provided, and I don't see how you can make.
Well, you can't unless it's in the same period. I don't know how you make it again.
No, Easy Rider is so specific to the 60s.
Exactly. I mean, if they're remaking it in the 60s, then fine, I guess.
Right. So, Ang Lee apparently is directing his son Mason Lee in a new Bruce Lee biopic.
I didn't even know that his son was an actor, so that's interesting.
No. Apparently, he spent most of lockdown getting into shape and
into Lee shape.
Yeah.
When everyone else was getting out of shape.
And I haven't seen any pictures of him, so I don't know how closely he resembles.
Well, I mean, if it's a true biopic, I'm down with that for sure. Really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like Dragon.
I do as well. It's very fictional.
Yes,
but it is cool.
It has demons in it for a start.
I mean, outside of that, it also deviates quite a bit, but it's fun.
I've just looked him up. He does not look like Bruce Lee.
Okay, well,
but
we'll see.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, Ang Lee's a great director, so
fantastic.
I'd completely be on board with him directing a Bruce Lee movie. I think that's going to be cool. I kind of look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a brief thing about they've made a Luther movie.
Oh, okay.
Which really annoys me because I hated the way the series ended.
Is this going to be like a fix of that, though?
I don't know. Well, I don't think he can fix it because by the end of the series, I remember you really hating it. He betrayed Annie. He betrayed her. And it just made me go, I don't ever want to see this dude again.
Oh, no.
I mean, all right, she was a murderer, but I love that character.
Yeah.
And they were supposed, I wouldn't say they were supposed to be together forever, but it was,
supposed to be together forever, damn it.
Supposed to be together forever. They were, she said, don't lie to me and don't treat me like that. And he totally did. He was just a dick, and it didn't end very well. So I will watch it because it's a Luther movie, and it's still done by, is it Neil Cross that writes it, I think? Still done by him, so at least it's going to be, the writer and that. And it's Idris Elba's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll still watch it, but I'm not happy.
Oh.
I'm not happy with how it ended. So it's interesting to see how they do it, because apparently it's going to be, they're not going to be in London. They're going to be outside the city. It's going to be, moved without of his own realm, sort of thing. So that at least interesting to see.
Yeah.
Briefly, condolences to Christine McVie's family.
Oh yes.
Not movie related, but wonderful musician and singer.
Yeah, I mean, Fleetwood or
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's it.
Well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. During this, we had a few technical difficulties, and I think as a result, we had a conversation, and we actually know what we're going to be doing.
We are
next week.
We do. It's going to be Lethal Weapon.
So we're kicking off the festive period with Lethal Weapon. So we will be back with our deep dive of Lethal Weapon next week. But until then, stay safe, take care, and we'll catch you next time.